Hi, I'm Sandana Priya, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, Bharatiya Arts and Science College for Women. Today, we see the chapters numerical analysis. In numerical analysis, we see the topic as regular falsi method problem. Now, we see the example for the regular falsi method problem, that is solve x cube minus 4x plus 1 is equal to 0 by using regular falsi method up to 3 decimal places. Here we have the solution of this problem. Now consider x cube minus 4x plus 1 is taken as a function of the term. It is denoted by f of x. That is f of x is equal to x cube minus 4x plus 1. Now we check the behavior of the term of the value. It is taken as a root of the value. So we check the value, that is x is replaced by 0. Here we get the value, that is f of 0 is equal to 0 cube minus 4 of 0 plus 1 is equal to 1. It is a positive sign of the value. Again we substitute the value, that is x is replaced by 1. We get the answer is f of 1 is equal to 1 cube minus 4 of 1 plus 1. We get the answer is minus 2. It is a negative term of the value. Now we have the different behavior of the sign of the term. So we stop this process here and we choose the value, that is root is lies between 0 and 1, but did not get any different sign behavior of the term means again we put the value, x is replaced by 2. Then we get the value, that is f of 2 is check whether it is a positive or negative. It is a negative means we choose the value, that is 1 and 2 are the roots. Now here positive and negative value are lies between 0 and 1, so we stop this process here. So since f of 0 and f of 1 are of the opposite sign, therefore the roots are lies between 0 and 1. Let us take a is equal to 0 and b is equal to 1. Now we find the first approximation of these roots. We get the value of the formula. Already we know the regular falsi method formula, that is x1 is equal to a into f of b minus b into f of a whole thing divided by f of b minus f of a. Here already we know the value, that is a is equal to 0 and b is equal to 1. So substitute this value here, that is x1 is equal to a is replaced by 0 and b is replaced by 1. So we get the value as x1 is equal to 0 of f of 1 minus 1 into f of 0 whole thing divided by f of 1 minus f of 0. Already we know that value f of 0 is equal to 0 cube minus 4 of 0 plus 1 is taken as a 1. And f of 1 is equal to 1 cube minus 4 of 1 plus 1 is equal to minus 2. So substitute this value, we get the answer is x1 is equal to 0 of minus 2 minus of 1 into 1 whole thing divided by minus 2 minus of 1. So simply of this term we get the answer is x1 is equal to 0.333. Now we check the behavior of the root of the term. Here put x1 value in f of x, that is f of x in x is replaced by x1. We get the value, that is f of x1 is equal to x1 cube minus 4 of x1 plus 1. Already we know the value x1 is equal to 0.333. So substitute this value here, we get the term as 0.333 whole cube minus 4 into 0.333 plus 1. Simplify the term, we get the answer as f of x1 is equal to minus 0.2962. It is a negative term of the sign. So therefore we consider as a f of x1 is taken as to be negative. Now check the behavior of the sign of the term. Already we know the value, that is f of a is a positive behavior of the term and f of b is a negative behavior of the term. Now here we get the value, that is f of x1, that is we get the negative behavior of the term. So now we check move towards whether it is positive or negative. That is f of x1 is negative, it is move rightward of the term, that is f of b is negative. It is the same behavior of the term means it is a neglected term. We choose only opposite behavior of the term. So it is move towards, that is f of x1 is move towards the left hand side of the term, that is positive. This f of a is positive. So f of a is positive and f of x1 is negative. It is a different behavior of the term. So we choose the value, that is f of a and f of x1. So we choose the value, that is f of a and f of x1. Therefore the roots are lies between is considered as to be a and x1. Now we find the second approximation of the term, that is x2 is equal to, we already know that formula, that is x2 is equal to a into f of x1 minus x1 into f of a, whole thing divided by f of x1 minus f of a. Already we know that value a is replaced by 0 and x1, that is f of x1 is replaced by minus 0.2962 and x1 is replaced by 0.333. So we substitute this value, we get the answer is, that is x2 is equal to 0 of minus 0.2962 minus of 0.333 into f of 0 is replaced by 1, whole thing divided by minus 0.2962 minus of 1. So simplify the term, we get the answer is x2 is equal to 0.2571. Here now check the value, that is the roots are same or not. Previously we find the value of the term x1 is equal to 0.333. Here we get the value of the root x2 is equal to 0.2571. It is does not any same of the term of the value. So we choose as the next approximation of the term. But we have the same root of this term, means stop this process here and choose the roots between roots are lies between 0.2571. so the roots are taken as a 0.2571, but here x1 and x2 value is different behavior of the value. So we go to the next approximation of the term and check the value is x2 and x3 is same, means x3 is taken as a root of the term. So now check the behavior of these roots. Put x2 value in f of x, that is x is replaced by x2 in f of x, that is f of x2 is equal to x2 whole cube minus 4 into x2 plus 1. Already we know that value x2 is equal to 0.2571. Here substitute this value, we get the term is 0.2571 whole cube minus 4 into 0.2571 plus 1. Simplify the term, we get the answer is minus 0.0115. That is f of x2 is equal to negative term of the value. Therefore, f of x2 is taken as a negative term. Now, check the behavior of the sign of the term. That is, already we know that f of a is positive behavior and f of b is negative behavior. Previously, we find f of x1 is negative behavior. Now, we have the value, that is f of x2 is negative. So, whether we check the form of the term, it is a positive or negative, that is f of x2 is negative, it is move rightward of the term, means it is negative, it is a same behavior of the term, because f of x2 is negative and f of x1 is also negative, therefore f of x1 is neglected. So we did not choose the sign of the term. So it is moved towards the left hand side of the term, that is f of a is positive and f of x2 is negative. It is a different behavior of the sign of the term. So we choose the value, that is f of a and f of x2. So we choose the value, that is f of a and f of x2. Therefore, the roots are lies between a and x2. Now we find the third approximation of the term. Already we know that formula, that is x3, that is third approximation, is equal to a into f of x2 minus x2 into f of a, whole thing divided by f of x2 minus f of a. Already we know that value a is replaced by 0 and f of x2 is replaced by minus 0.0115 and f of 0 is taken as a 1. So previously we find this value, now we substitute this value here, that is x3 is equal to 0 of minus 0.0115 minus of 0.2571 into 1 divided by minus 0.0115 minus 1. So now we simplify the term, we get the term of the answer is x3 is equal to 0.2541. Now we check the behavior of the term of the root of this value. Previously we find x2 value, here we get the x3 value. Previously we get the x2 value 0.2571, now we get the x3 value 0.2541. Did not get any positive term of the value, it is same term. That is, in problem they are given, that is up to 3 decimal places are same value. Here x2 is 0.25, only 2 decimal places. x3 is equal to 0.2541, only 2 decimal places are only same. So we did not choose this value. So we move towards the fourth approximation of the value. Then we check the value, that is x3 and x4 as same, means stop this process and consider as to be the root of this term. Now check the behavior of these roots. Put x3 value in f of x. We get that is x is replaced by x3. We get the f of x3 is equal to x3 whole cube minus 4 into x3 plus 1. Already we get the value, that is x3 is equal to 0.2541. We substitute the value here. We get the answer is 0.2541 whole cube minus 4 into 0.2541 plus 1. Simplify of this term, we get the answer is f of x3 is equal to 0.00001. It is a positive behavior of that term. Therefore, f of x3 is taken as to be a positive term of the value. Now, check the behavior of the sign of the term. Already we have the value, that is f of a is positive and f of x2 is negative and f of x1 is negative and f of b is negative. It is the behavior of the sign of the term. But here we have the value, that is f of x3 is positive behavior of the term. Whether we check the positive or negative, it is the same behavior or not. So now we check the value. Now here f of x3 is positive. It is move left hand side means f of a is positive. It is the same behavior of the term. So f of a is neglected, not taken that value. So then f of x3 is positive. It is moved toward the right hand side of the term, that is f of x2 is negative. It is a different behavior of the term. So we choose the value, that is f of x3 and f of x2. So we choose the value f of x3 and f of x2. Therefore, the roots are lies between x3 and x2. Now we find the fourth approximation of the term. That is, we know that formula x4 is equal to x3 into f of x2 minus x2 into f of x3 whole thing divided by f of x2 minus f of x3. Already we have the value, that is x3 is equal to 0.2541 and f of x2 is replaced by minus 0.0115 and f of x2 and f of x3 value, that is f of x3 is 0.00001. Now we substitute the value here. We get the value, that is x4 is equal to 0.2541 into minus 0.0115 minus of 0.2571 into 0.00001 whole thing divided by minus 0.0115 minus of 0.00001. Now we simplify the value of the term. We get the answer is, that is x4 is equal to 0.2541. That is the root of the value, that is x4 is equal to 0.2541. So now we check the value previous of the term x3. x3 we get the value. We have the value x3 is 0.2541. Now we get the value of the term x4 is equal to 0.2541. It is the same value of the term, that is x3 and x4 of the value is same root of the value. So we choose the value is, it is the root of the term. So we choose the consider of the term, root is 0.2541. So now we stop this process here and consider the root is said to be 0.2541. Hence the root is 0.2541. Thank you.